Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan MS Pearce, and I'm sorry I said I was going to go away for a couple of days and not do a video, and then Russia decided to have the biggest single attack on Ukraine since the war began. So typically that has happened. Hearts go out, of course, to those who are suffering, no doubt. And there'll be a lot of people around Ukraine because this was a massive attack. So thanks to Benny Pie, who's going to put this together with some images. I'm just going to read you. First of all, we're going to go through the missile and drone barrage that hit overnight. So I normally start with my general staff figures for the Russian losses from materiel. I'm going to start with the air attack last night, and it was huge. So this is a general staff statement. There were 45 cruise missiles shot down, 266 enemy drones destroyed. So on the night of May the 25th from 8:40 p.m. On May the 24th, the enemy carried out a combined strike on Ukraine using 367 enemy air attack vehicles. So 367 aerial threats, including 9 Iskander-M or KN-23 ballistic missiles, and they were launched from Kursk. 55 air and sea launched cruise missiles, Kh-101 caliber from strategic aviation aircraft. They were launched from Saratov region and the Black Sea area. And then 1 Kh-22 cruise missile launched from the Black Sea. 4 Kh-59-69 guided aircraft missiles launched from the northern direction. And then, so that's 9 Iskanders. I have heard actually some more Iskanders than that. Nonetheless, none of those were shot down, incidentally. So 298 Shahed attack drones and simulated drones of various types from Bryansk, Milarovo, Kursk, Oriol, Primorsk, Akhtarsk, etc., etc. So a number of places they were all sent from, as per usual. So the air attack was repelled, they say, by aviation, anti-aircraft, missile troops, electronic warfare, unmanned systems units, mobile fire groups, etc., etc. So we hear that most of the regions of Ukraine were affected by the enemy attack, but Kyiv was definitely targeted predominantly. So there are dead and injured, and we express our condolences, say the General Staff. So the infographic gives us 367 were shot down, 45 missiles, 139 drones were shot down, 127 drones were taken out by electronic warfare. I'm just going to go to The Guardian, read out their actually headline article. This is how major it was last night. So Russia's launched the largest air raid in 3 years of the war against Ukraine in a second straight night of massive drone and ballistic missile strikes, which saw the capital city Kyiv once again the main focus of the heavy attack. Across the country, at least 13 people were killed, according to officials, including 3 children in the Kyiv region, and dozens more injured, as officials released a first assessment of casualties and damage on Sunday morning. Now, that's 298 drones and 69 missiles in multiple waves were sent. It says that Russia's defense ministry says its air defenses shot down 110 Ukrainian drones. So the Ukrainians did send a bunch into Russia. We just don't know yet, or at least I don't know yet, the battle damage assessment for that. Now, Zelensky's called on the United States to speak out against the Russian attacks. Quote, "The silence of America, the silence of others in the world only encourages Putin. Every such terrorist Russian strike is reason enough for new sanctions against Russia." But he also said he expected officials to press on with the major prisoner swap that's been taking place this week. So, yeah, lots of locations hit. I'm just going to go to Max 25. The world may be taking a weekend off, but the war continues. Regardless of weekends and weekdays, this cannot be ignored. Point taken, Zelensky. America's silence, the silence of others in the world, only encourages Putin. Which I think is on point. Without really strong pressure on the Russian leadership, this brutality cannot be stopped. Sanctions will definitely help. Determination is what matters most. The determination of the US, European countries, of all those in the world who want peace. So that's what Max 25 had to say, that Zelensky indeed said. Having a bit of trouble getting the rest of his comment there. But then I just wanted to pop in to see what Tim White had to say as well. I'm having trouble with my my partner's phone, so that's not working I will go back to now focus, and there is lots of incredible imagery, and by incredible I mean horrific and striking, of the strikes on particularly Kyiv, Bucha, Khmelnytskyi, where the Konstantinov air base is back in to the west of Ukraine, and that's where we've seen missiles target and drones target time and time again to try and take out what is probably F-16s, but certainly the airplanes that carry Storm Shadow cruise missiles and whatnot, although they're not using them so much at the moment. But Khmelnytskyi is always on the target. Right, now to move over to the Ukrainian General Staff figures for the Russian losses for the day before. All the usual caveats apply, of course. You can find them linked in the description below. So personnel losses 1,020, above 1,000, but the lower end of that range that we normally talk about. 2 tanks, so a real downtick in both. Well, a little bit of a downtick in personnel and big downtick in tanks. Only 2. 11 troop carrying AFVs, which is about half the daily average. 68 artillery systems, it's about 3 times the daily average, so that's really good in that category. 1 multiple launch rocket system, 112 vehicles and fuel tanks, fairly decent stats there, and 7 pieces of special equipment, and of course very high drone numbers, as you would expect. So the stats for the Ukrainian well, for the Russian losses for the Ukrainian General Staff are pretty typical. Nothing incredible there. Just general attritional stats that you know we've come to expect. And just want to see if I can. It's because there's no data in the area, so that's why I can't access the stuff on my partner's phone that I was accessing. But essentially, here we go. So we have Tim White saying that it's typically, you know, pretty terrible. While no one died in Kyiv city, some of the worst scenes are in a wider region where 4 people were killed there and 16 injured. And as I say, some of the imagery is incredible, but in all bad ways. Listing all the places, including, you know, Bucha, Brovary, that's often here as an area of Kyiv, and Markhalivka as well. The next most deadly attack came in Khmelnytskyi. 4 people died there, and another 5 civilians suffered shrapnel wounds. Residential buildings were hit, but I would imagine, of course, a lot of military targeting going on there too, but you won't hear about that because of OPSEC. And just finally, Zhytomyr as well. Zhytomyr was targeted, and 3 more young lives were cut down there. So 3 children were killed in attacks in Zhytomyr. So real sadness from there. 23 people are now known to have been injured in Kyiv area, in addition to the 4 deaths there. So anyway, just before I go and hop on a plane, I thought I'd let you know that it was an absolutely horrific night of attacks. The Ukrainians have also struck Russia. I'll try and find out about that, but you can go and find out on the socials. You know all the sources. But in the meantime, you know, take care, spare a thought for those suffering in Ukraine, and I'll speak to you soon, no doubt. Toodle pips.